JHope was seen getting massive hate over what people believed was a hate comment towards BLACKPINK and the recent tour. We have members being demanded to leave BTS and why people are saying this. We will get into all of that. We also have JHope talking about touring and bad tours and all that stuff. Say Dumplings is Dave Disci. Let's get into it. Bad tours are essentially inevitable when it comes to an artist, or even just when people are rushing for a tour. A tour takes a lot of work and a huge amount of people. The idea that you can just put on a show and it all really is just renting a venue is not true at all. There are things that people don't think about, which is of course the crew that is necessary, sound check, staging, lighting, and all that stuff just to put on a show. This is of course not counting the people who are in charge of making sure that the venue is safe, secure, and that the stage is built properly to withstand dancing and jumping around. And then of course all of that is not even counting the amount of PR and publicity that is necessary to sell out a show and to make sure that people actually attend. This isn't even just to make sure that tickets are selling out, but ensuring that when people buy the tickets that they're going to stick around and actually attend the day the show arrives. So making sure that artists stay relevant and that they're not getting into any scandals before the show date. And that's just the first show. Usually in a tour, and especially if they're doing a tour, then we're talking about the need to make sure that all of that stuff can get transported into the next venue, usually in a different state or even different continents. And even with all that, I'm sure I am missing several different things that go into creating just one show in a tour. JHope recently did sit down to do an interview with Vogue Japan. He was asked numerous questions about the first time he did things, his first experience auditioning and making music, how he got into dancing. He basically answered a lot of different questions. One thing that he was asked was his experience touring, and he mentioned that when all the members start doing solo activities and that they start to tour, it really shows the influence that each individual members have. I'm assuming he's talking about how sold out an arena is, or just how much noise their tour solo activity makes. He talked about his fear of putting on a bad show. He says that because it really showcases each individual member's influence, he doesn't take touring lightly, and he considers it not just something that he feels a lot of pressure for, but just something that he considers a big deal. This really emphasizes how much effort he puts into his shows and concerts to ensure that it's not only just a great experience for anyone who attends, but that he considers it almost a make or break moment in his career. He didn't specifically say this, but if you read between the lines, this is something that he emphasizes, which is why he feels a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility for it. For most artists, touring is a big part of how they make their money. You would think that the part where they make the most money is the part when they become the most famous, but that's actually not true. So when they're doing their press tours and going to different variety shows and interviews and that sort of stuff, that is not when they make the most money. In fact, most of the time, they're not getting paid to do any of that stuff. And the more well-known they become in that period, there is just this hope that will eventually result in more ticket sales or whatever they're trying to promote. So when everyone goes on tour and they make money, that ends up being the main part how an artist makes money. Even a single is to then eventually promote the album, which is then to promote the tour, because if you like the album, you probably want to hear it live. So everything's like a funnel, if you will, to get people to go to the tours. Of course, this also means that if you're like BTS, and there probably isn't even a need to do heavy promotion like this, because 10 out of 10 times each venue is going to sell out anyway. But this could also explain why labels may or may not push the artist as much as the community may want them to, because the main goal here isn't just to get the members to be as famous as possible, but just to sell tickets. So essentially, when a member goes solo, the responsibility to sell out all the tickets during the tour is really high, because it not only shows, as JHope mentioned, the impact or the influence of each member, but it lets the label know whether a solo tour for a solo member is even worth investing in the future. However, this is not a concern that I think the BTS members have to ever worry about, because I think their concerts are going to sell out regardless. However, I'm not behind the scenes. I'm not actually seeing the numbers and what they are, so I actually don't know what's true and what isn't. JK has recently been demanded to have a tour. A lot of the people in the community have been talking about this, and then ultimately ended up having a protest truck outside the label to ask the label to have a solo tour. I would say that the tour could be unlikely, although they do have a lot of time before the reunion, and if anything, if JK were to go on tour for a month, I think that is something that he could do. What really bothers me is that there are a lot of people who will bring up moments from a year ago, from a few years ago, and even from when JK first started with the group, where he mentions wanting to do a solo tour. And people use that as a reason to say that the label is mistreating him for not giving up solo tour, because obviously he wants one. And the community used that as a reason to say that that is why they want a solo tour, because JK was admitting that he wanted a solo tour. And so the fans are going to support whatever JK wants to do, right? That's the only reason why they're protesting so hard. Of course, I'm going to say the obvious here, in my opinion. This is just people saying that they want a solo tour because they want it, not actually considering what JK wants. There's literally zero reason for JK to not have a solo tour right now. Why on earth does Shin have a mini one? Why on earth does JHope have a mini one? This was all stuff that they decided to do. These people are not taking into consideration that JK just came out of the military, and he might want some time off. He might want time off right now to not think of anything. And who knows, he might be working on a tour as we speak, and that's why he's been kind of silent. But even if he wasn't, why are we not considering the thought that he might just want to break after coming back from the military? And touring is really stressful. Some of the other members might be able to go from the military right into touring or right into solo activity, but we don't know if that's something that JK wants right now. Why are we forcing the hand for someone who, if he wanted to do this, he would be fighting for it himself? To spend a lot of money to get a billboard truck outside the label, that is utterly embarrassing. We haven't even considered at this point that by doing this, you're going to have JK go on a solo tour just because he thinks you guys want it rather than he himself wanting to do it. And ultimately, it's the community wanting a solo tour, probably more than he wants a solo tour. If JK doesn't want a solo tour, and I'm saying if, and he sees these billboard trucks outside the headquarters, the only thing that he's going to feel is guilt. He's not going to see this and feel happy that someone is fighting for him. He's going to feel guilty for not doing it because does he have a say in whether he wants to do that or not? That should be 100% his decision. All of this from the get-go has been his decision. After all, he did sign a contract to say that he would join the BTS reunion, and thus that did end up pushing him into the military when he doesn't have to be into the military even yet. That was all his decision. All of this is his decision, so back off, just let him decide what he wants to do. Funny enough, we are seeing some of the other members on tour recently, which is JHope, and he was allegedly spotted at BLACKPINK's Deadline tour. The girls got together and did a little bit of a reunion and decided to do a tour, and one of the shows that we see is none other than JHope there. From the images and stuff, we don't know fully if it was him, but of course, some of the people that were there would obviously get a better view of him and would see it than how we're seeing it via a phone. So I'm gonna say that he was allegedly there, as we don't really know if he was actually there or not. The video that we see shows an alleged JHope playing with a light stick. He was using it as a hammer, like what it looks like it is, as well as touching it and playing with it and really examining it. To me, it looks like he was just having fun with it and thinking it was cute or whatever, while other people interpret it as him saying that it was bad. Some people believe that the tour or the show was going to be lacking in quality, so they compared that to what the light stick is, saying that JHope was probably looking at it being like, oh wow, the light sticks suck too. However, these are mostly just jokes that the community for some reason thinks is really funny. I definitely think it's rude and inappropriate, but these are more so what they're saying rather than what actually was happening. As to me, it looked like he was just playing around with it, testing the quality of it, and just trying to get ideas from it. What a lot of entrepreneurs do and what a lot of people in business do is instead of critiquing things, they take inspiration from things, and they might in their head think, oh wow, I could do something with this, maybe change it, maybe do this. This is what people are doing with their light sticks. I'm going to do something more on the other end of that. So it's just more so research and him just getting inspiration rather than him critiquing. And most entrepreneurs don't insult other people's businesses and ideas, they just build on it. Some of the wealthiest people and successful people ever, you'll quickly figure out that they don't like to gossip, they don't like to talk about other people, they like to talk about ideas. Why on earth would JHope insult someone that he went to a concert to see? Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos. I'll leave a link at the top of the description. I think it's this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.